All right, hey guys, welcome to another video. As you guys can see in front of you, we have two Mk7.5 Golfs. So right over here on the right, we have my Mk7.5 Golf R. It's a 2019 model, the last year for the Mk7.5 Golf R. And to our left, we have the 2021 Volkswagen Golf GTI. Now, of course, this is the last year for the GTI. In this video, I'm just gonna compare pretty much everything as far as inside and outside. I've driven both, I own this car, and I just did a POV review on this car. Be sure to check that out just so you can kind of get a good idea as to how it drives and everything. For this comparison, we're just going to be jumping back and forth to both cars. Of course, I'm not going to be obviously jumping back and forth each time, but I'm just going to get in one and show you pretty much everything that's different between both cars, because believe it or not, there are a decent amount of things different with these cars as far as packaging goes. Obviously, drivability. This car is all-wheel drive, and I'll get into all the numbers and everything a little bit into the video. So basically, as you guys know, this is the cream of the crop when it comes to Volkswagen Golfs. The Golf R, is equipped with the all-wheel drive system. You get the big brakes, you get everything. As far as this car goes, with packaging, everything comes included. There are no options. The only options you can get is the 6-speed manual or the 7-speed DSG. Now, as far as power output goes, a little bit under 300 horsepower. So approximately 288 horsepower, around 280 pound-feet of torque. For the GTI, we're looking at 228 horsepower, 256 pound-feet of torque. Both cars, of course, have differentials because this is a performance package. It comes with the XDS cross differential and the VAQ limited slip diff. So a decent amount of power for this car. It is a little bit lighter as well. It's around 150, 200 pounds lighter than the Golf R. However, this is the Autobahn, so this will come with everything. So being, a highly optioned car, it's gonna be a little bit heavier. Of course, both are DSG, so both will have the weight of the DSG. It's around probably 100-pound difference from the manual, or maybe 70 pounds. That's pretty much that as far as performance goes. Of course, front-wheel drive, if I haven't mentioned, all-wheel drive. You're gonna have the grip with this car, and you're gonna have a more effective launch control. Both cars do offer launch control. However, this one is really the true launch control because you're not going to be spinning up. Now we'll talk about the front ends of the car. Now, as you guys can see, the GTI, a happy car, a very happy, sporty, bubbly car. You have that lower grille, it's smiling. We have our fog lights that are integrated into the side as well. For the Golf R, it looks a little bit more pissed. It's aggressive. It's, of course, a little bit more slanted in. Where the fog lights are on the GTI is actually where the DSG cooler is, and it does also have functional vents that route to the wheel wells. You probably can see sort of towards the far corner of the car, and of course that follows through to the other side. Really nice. It's nice to see functional vents on a Golf R. All right, so here is the key for both cars. It's funny that Volkswagen used the newer logo for this car, even though they didn't change the logos on the front or the steering wheel, and of course the rear as well. But when we go to unlock it, we get those nice turn signals, and same for the Golf R. Unlock it, same exact turn signals, same exact lights. However, the GTI does of course have these red pinstriping that goes right through. On the GTI, it has a honeycomb grille on the top and a honeycomb grille on the bottom, and for the R, it's a little bit more of a less pronounced and sort of more of a basic look. However, it's obviously still functional. Air can still go through. It's just more slats. I will say, where the GTI has red, the Golf R uses a lot of chrome. Both cars have radar integrated into the front badge, as you can probably see. And this car is finished in a pure white exterior, and this car is finished in lapis blue. Now going along to the side of the vehicles, this car is on 18-inch wheels. I don't necessarily know the name of these specific wheels. I know they're new for the 2021, but we of course have Gti Breaks. These are pretty much the same exact brakes. They are the same exact brakes from the Golf R, but it's really cool to see them on the GTI because obviously the car weighs a little bit less, so it probably stops a lot better. This is wrapped in summer performance tires. Now onto the Golf R. This car is riding on 19-inch Pretoria wheels, again also on summer rubber, arguably probably need new tires soon, and of course we have our logo brakes. These brake calipers are finished in sort of a flat black, and these are more of a glossy red. We have our R logo there, and on the GTI we have GTI indicated right there. Both cars have gloss black mirror caps. As we move along the side of the Golf R, we have a gloss black side skirt, and on the GTI, we have more of a flat black side skirt. Now on to the back of the cars. Now one of the things that's super signature Golf R is the quad tailpipes. This car is on an aftermarket exhaust system. It's a Remus valved exhaust system, so it's obviously going to look a little bit different from a standard Golf R, but quad tailpipes, it really sticks out. We have a gloss black diffuser that goes alongside or along the rear of the car, and our R logo is right there. So some pretty noticeable changes, more so on the back of the car than the front, but you know, to the untrained eye, it's really the chrome tailpipes that stand out the most when you're trying to figure out if it's a GTI or a Golf R. Another thing I also want to notice is how the Golf R is just a little bit lower than the GTI, and that's just typical Golf R stance. The car is heavier, but it is just generally just a little bit lower. I don't necessarily know the exact low, but it is just a little bit lower. All right, now going along to the back of the GTI, now we have a more of a flat black diffuser and these huge chrome tailpipes. I like these tailpipes a lot. I really think they stick out. Of course, just dual tailpipes, but still really cool. Looks just as cool as the quad in my opinion, because these ones again really stand out. They're really nice, they're chrome, and this diffuser, I'm a little confused as to kind of the styling, because it's sort of pushed back. It's almost like it's, you know, ready for a, you know, a trailer hitch or whatever, but a little bizarre that it's, you know, so far pushed back, but you know, it's not the end of the world. And of course, one thing to also notice, as you guys can see, our GTI logos. All right, now we'll jump inside both of the cars. Now, first we'll jump right into the GTI. All right, so sitting inside the GTI, we have our analog gauges, same exact 8-inch touchscreen. However, this one is a little bit more responsive. We'll start up the car just so I can show you guys. Of course, GTI. That's of course the new GTI logo with the new Volkswagen logo. However, for this car, there's only some small, you know, indications that they're changing the logo around. Of course, they maintain the same logo on the steering wheel and all along the vehicle. Now, another thing to also notice is in the GTI, we only have red stitching, and in the R, we have white stitching. However, this system, in my opinion, is way better than the one I have, and I shouldn't say way better, but it's just better than the one that I have in my Golf R. It's just a lot more responsive, and I'll just do a little bit of scrolling so you kind of get a decent idea. And we can adjust a lot, same amount as we can adjust in the Golf R, but it is a little bit different layout, which is cool. But yeah, no, everything is really, really responsive. We don't have sport pages that the Golf R does have. So in the GTI does not have perforated seats like the Golf R has, and it has a manual handbrake. However, this GTI also has a more modernized mirror. This is frameless, and it, of course, has a compass right there. Another thing to also mention is the fact that this car also has a sunroof, which is really nice and something that I really miss in my Golf R. So we'll close right there. Again, huge sunroof, and I had one in my GTI and I miss it a lot for sure. But yeah, now we'll jump right into the Golf R. All right, hopping into the Golf R. Again, this is my personal vehicle and it's gonna be a little dirty. I apologize. So as you guys can see, we have some white stitching right here, virtual cockpit. I don't necessarily know the exact size. It might be 10-inch, maybe 12-inch. So a nice display, and what we'll do is we'll start up the car. So as you guys can see, same exact kind of setup. What I was mentioning in the GTI, that the Golf R just, it's not slow, it's just the refresh rate, the frame rate's just a little bit quicker in the GTI. But it's not in the end of the world. Of course, being the Golf R, we don't get a sunroof, really sad to say, but to keep the cost down on the Golf R, they didn't want to add everything, so I totally understand that. But yeah, virtual cockpit is really nice. Like I said, I don't have a certain preference if I like virtual cockpit more, but it's really nice. And you know, a lot of people are probably super confused why I say that, but yeah, it is really nice. But again, it doesn't really make or break the car. I wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't be the end of the world if I didn't have virtual cockpit. I think the Golf R gauges, the GTI gauges are really cool. So yeah, looking around, the pretty much the same type of theme. Golf R has its own little trim. The GTI has also a different trim as well. We have blue lights, blue LEDs right here, and also on the trim. And pretty much both cars have gloss block that follows through. This has an electronic handbrake with a really cool slider for the cup holder, so you can kind of give it that clean look by closing them. And these seats are perforated and they have an R logo, which is really cool. Kind of gives somebody another hint that this is a Golf R and not a GTI. And as you guys would expect, there are definitely similarities and differences with these vehicles. They're both Golfs. This one has a little bit less power, this one has more torque, everything. Basically, it just boils down to price and preference. If you guys want a lighter car with better fuel economy and just generally cheaper, if of course you go with a used model compared to a used Golf R, obviously GTIs are going to be cheaper, then I would say go for a GTI. But if you're looking for, you know, if you want that traction, if you're sick of front wheel drive spinning up, or if you know you're someone who drives fast a lot, then I would say the Golf R is great because of that, you know, the assurance that you will hook up and you won't really spin tires and eat them up. So again, preference. I really enjoyed driving the GTI today. It was light, it handled really nicely, the brakes were really nice. This car stickers just under 40K new, and my Golf R stickered right around 43K new. I will say, however, one thing to notice too is the fact that my car was 37 with only I only paid $37,000 for my car after shipping and everything. So one thing to note if you're looking to buy these cars used, which again, totally a personal preference. You know, it's nice to have your own new car, and I totally understand that, but I always personally buy secondhand, just so I can save just a couple thousand. And in this case, I saved around $6,000 because I only paid $37,000 for my car, which means it's around $3,000 cheaper than this car right in front of you. Now, of course, Golf R versus GTI, it's your own preference. They're both fantastic cars. You know, I've owned both, and I really do love both. They stand out. They're really fun to drive, they're economical, they're very convenient to drive around. However, I will say you can probably pick up a facelift GTI with this type of packaging. I would say if you wait a year and if you want to buy this car secondhand, you certainly can, but I will say, of course, they're done making Mark 7.5, so if you want a new Mark 7.5, now's the time to get it because they aren't making them anymore. So definitely jump on board if you want them now. You can, of course, wait a year or two and buy them secondhand. You could probably pick one up for around maybe 30, a little bit less. That's as you'd expect. The Golf R would probably hold its value just a little bit better, but again, both cars are really great. I love both of them, and if you guys are interested in either, let me know, and I can certainly help you find the car of your dreams. So again, I want to thank Seacoast Volkswagen in Greenland, New Hampshire for allowing me to do this today. They have an awesome inventory. They have plenty of GTIs to go around. They have GLIs, plenty of crossovers, SUVs, you name it, they have it. So without further ado, I'm going to end the video here, and I want to thank you guys so much for staying tuned, and hopefully this answered some questions that some of you guys may have. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.